To all of our witnesses for being here with us today. I believe that criminal justice reform is one of the critical issues for this committee to work on, and appreciate you all being here. Most recently, I was honored to introduce the Fresh Start Act, which is a bipartisan bill that supports helping individuals reintegrate back into society and gaining access to employment, housing, and educational opportunities, and want to thank my colleague, Representative Cam Laggard-Dove, for co-leading this effort with me. In addition to advancing reform, it's critical that Congress continues to conduct meaningful oversight from the Bureau of Prisons to ensure our correctional facilities are secure, cost-effective, and safe for our correctional officers. But I'd like to begin, Mr. Patel, by going back to something that you just commented about, which was you referred to evidence-based recidivism reduction. And I would love to hear your thoughts on some of the tools and strategies that are evidence-based that help us reduce rates of recidivism.
Sure. We do know a fair amount about when people are more likely to recidivate. We know that employment is one of the most important factors that someone can ever have in determining whether or not they're going to recidivate once they're released from prison. I think that the evidence-based, there are criminologists who are in a better position to speak to exactly what goes into evidence-based programming than I am. I know that the Bureau has a process by which they examine programs before they determine that they're evidence-based. I think in terms of oversight, really encouraging the Bureau of Prisons to get more of those programs online, get them approved, get them into the facilities, get them behind the walls, get them working, I think is critically important. I know that some things, and I'm very sympathetic to the idea that we need these programs to be evidence-based, because sometimes some of the activities that get labeled as recidivism reduction are probably not all that effective. So I think it's important to have that distinction drawn.
Thank you. And Mr. Wild, from the inmate rehabilitation standpoint, have staffing shortages affected the availability of programming and those types of opportunities for those who are incarcerated?
Yes. In several locations where staffing is low, you have to be able to escort volunteers. You have to ensure that as people are coming in to offer those programs, that they're kept safe and secure as well. And so, yes, staffing shortages do impact programs.
And Mr. Potter, shifting gears a little bit, last Congress, I introduced the Lieutenant Osvaldo Albarradi Stopping Prison Contraband Act that would have increased penalties for smuggling cell phones into prisons and will provide oversight of the Department of Justice to ensure these policies, when in place, are being upheld. Can you speak to the issue of increased contraband being smuggled into prisons, and specifically the dangers associated with cell phones?
Yeah, there's been all kinds of contraband that have been smuggled into prisons one way or the other, whether it's over the fence or through the gate. And cell phones in particular are, in my mind, pretty dangerous because, well, there's a way of communicating from across the compound. There's a way of communicating with folks outside to do all kinds of nefarious things. It's not just a communication to see how you're doing. I mean, most times those cell phones lead to also, it's a level of contraband that's bought and sold that also leads to higher tensions and things like that.
And in particular, when we are analyzing officer safety and how to ensure that we are doing everything possible to ensure the security and safety of correctional officers, are cell phones one of the tools that can be utilized to actually develop plans or threats against correctional officers and others who are working in prison security?
I believe so, yes.
Now, what are some of the things that you think we could do to help deter or reduce the amount of contraband entering into our prison systems?
Well, I think there's a lot of innovation that's taken place over the past several years, and there's a lot of facilities in a lot of states that are taking those steps, like cell phone detection and drone detection and things like that. When people come in, if you can detect what kind of contraband they're bringing in, or if there's contraband coming from over the fence or however, if you can identify what that is or stop it or disable it, I think those are all mechanisms that are extremely useful.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.